Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight with UVM's Continuing and Distance Education. We're going to talk about pre-college programs, our pathway to UVM, specifically with high school students and sophomore to junior and senior year. Thank you so much for being with us. We have a lot to cover tonight. My name is Nicola Willie-Fenton. I have Kristen with us, who is an advisor specifically for our pre-college programs. We're going to look at what are the pre-college, what does that mean to have a pre-college program at the University of Vermont? What types of courses can high school students take currently? And then there's an amazing opportunity for Vermont high school students that there is a Vermont Dual Enrollment voucher system. And if it's something that you're not aware of, this is definitely something you're going to want to pay attention to tonight, because high school students can take 2 free courses through the Vermont Dual Enrollment voucher system, and we'll talk about that tonight. And also one of our other pre-college programs for high school students is Summer Academy. So we'll talk about what that is and give you a little bit of a glimpse as to what are some of the activities that students do when they are actually living here on campus for 2 weeks in the summer. As I've mentioned in the chat box tonight, please ask questions. If there's something that you're curious about, and I already see a few questions coming in, thank you so much. We'll get to those. I will try to monitor those throughout the presentation tonight and definitely have a pause for an opportunity to answer those. If there's a specific question that we can't get to or needs a little bit more detail, we absolutely encourage you to contact Kristen. We'll make sure that we put up contact information throughout the presentation because really the best opportunity then is to talk to Kristen one-on-one and to learn about the opportunity for your high school student. So as I mentioned, my name is Nicola Willie-Fenton. I'm the Content Marketing Manager at UVM's Continuing and Distance Education Department, and Kristen Kilbashian joins us. You have been advising students for many years, and you focus mostly on pre-college students. Is that accurate?
Yeah, correct. The vast majority of the students that I work with are pre-college students or students who just graduated college.
Right, and the GAP program as well is another program, and we can talk about that a little bit as well, the Guaranteed Admission Program. So what does it mean to go to pre-college at UVM or any school, really? There's lots of opportunities, but UVM, we're going to focus on what does that mean here, and what are the benefits for high school students to be able to do that? And so we can talk a little bit about the types of courses, but in a nutshell, it's a high school opportunity to earn college credit while you're still in high school, really for some of the great reasons of gaining credit before you come in to maybe get a jump on your college career at a much less price than would be the normal, absolutely, if you can take advantage of the dual enrollment program here in Vermont. And demonstrating oftentimes to recruiters that you are absolutely ready and right for college. Are those some of the reasons why parents often are looking to have their students come to UVM for pre-college?
Absolutely. Those are the primary reasons, but a couple of other reasons students are taking classes with us. One is because there are opportunities to take courses that they wouldn't otherwise have available to them in their high school. It's also to experience what a college level course is like. Right. So they don't walk into their first year of college totally unexperienced. They have a lot more savvy. They understand what a syllabus is. It's a whole new experience for them. So if they take 1 or 2 classes as a pre-college student, then they already have a leg up.
Yeah, they're really prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so the thing that I think is really interesting is that there's opportunities for high school students to come and sit on campus at classes and also online classes. Do you see students gravitate towards one or the other, or is it really a mix?
It is a mix. In the summertime, most of our courses are offered online, so there are fewer opportunities to be on campus, with the exception of some of our Summer Academy programs, which we'll talk about a little later. During the academic year, our courses are primarily on campus. Many students would prefer to start with that on-campus experience, having that face-to-face. Online learning is not for everybody. It does have a bit of a transition period. It takes a little bit of getting used to. You have
time management.
Solid time management skills, but a lot of students thrive in that environment as well. So it really is about who you are, where your strengths are, and what you prefer, and also what opportunities are there for you. So,
and we have a question too from Andrea asking, will there be other courses added? What is that process for pre-college courses? because I know that if they're seeing a course that is available, they also need to contact you because oftentimes course might be full or it might be challenging to get in. If a parent is interested in this process, what would be the first thing that you recommend that they do?
If they're interested in pre-college in general?
Yeah.
So I think that it's always important for a student to have communication with their guidance counselor in the high school first and foremost. I think a lot of students are working towards their enrollment, their academic plan.
Yep.
So they want to make sure that they're checking some of the requirement boxes. Then they can talk with us too if there's some other questions that they have about the right fit for classes. And we can help them identify areas that might be of interest to them or might work for the areas that they need to fulfill for their high school.
And so if somebody is seeing a course that is not listed or is looking for a course not listed, is there an opportunity? Do they change, or is it typically kind of the same offerings?
There are variances. If there is a course that you're looking for and it's not listed on the pre-college site, it may be something that the university does offer. It just doesn't happen to be on the pre-college list because it might be at a slightly more advanced level. It's always good to check in with us. We can help identify something similar if it's not exactly what you're asking for.
And is there different offerings sometimes in the summer?
They're pretty much the same classes that we would gear towards high school students throughout the year. Summer Academy is, again, a very unique
with health and medicine courses specifically. Maybe that's something.
So those courses are not offered during the academic year. Those are specific to the summer semester.
So we're going to get a little bit more into Summer Academy in a few minutes. And so we've been talking a lot tonight about why would you want to explore this process and try a class either online or on campus while still in high school. And I really find it interesting that students, and I wish that we had this opportunity when I was in high school. I went to high school in Vermont, and this wasn't a thing. And it would have been so amazing to try out a major, because maybe you're thinking of one thing, and you're not sure, or you have an opportunity to test that and see if it's something you're really interested in. Do you find that students have that opportunity to kind of dive in a little bit deep to what they're thinking they might major in college?
Oh yeah, for sure. We have a lot of students that take classes in areas that they are considering, and they'll either find out it's something they love or actually find out something they're really not into.
Right.
So you think you've never had exposure to a psychology class.
Right.
You get to take a psych class. A lot of students don't know about anthropology. They take an anthropology class, but you also have the opportunity to take classes that, like we said, would fit with your program plan in high school. So to fulfill your histories, your English, your mathematics.
Have you found that parents ask kind of regular questions, like a common questions when they're considering this for the first time for their student?
Oh, for sure.
What are some of those?
Yeah, some of the questions are, will my student be in classes
with college
students? And the answer is yes. During the academic year, all of the classes are open to undergraduates, graduates, non-degrees, as well as pre-college students. During the summer, the same applies. Again, most of the summer classes are online, so it's a different experience, but you are still having communications with people through online discussion boards. And then the pre-college summer academies are strictly for high school students.
So that you're really in a cohort with your peers. We have a great question here from Vanessa, and I think we'll probably go into the dual enrollment questions a little bit more detail in a minute. But Vanessa asks, what if I go to a private school? If I go to Rice High School, how do pre-college classes work with a private school? And does dual enrollment work also for some of the private schools?
So high schoolers in private schools can still take dual enrollment classes. That is not limited. However, the dual enrollment voucher program is limited to high schoolers in public high schools. Unless you are attending a private school because of some special circumstance, the voucher system does not apply to you. However, as a high schooler in the state of Vermont, actually as a high schooler in general, you are eligible for a 50% tuition discount. So
Right.
You may
So there's
not.
opportunity for savings. If dual enrollment isn't an opportunity because you're at a private school, you can absolutely still take courses at UVM in the pre-college program, but just at a different discount than the dual enrollment. Right. And I just have a slide up here that shows what the course listing looks like. And I had earlier in the chat box put up a link to the pre-college program webpage, and in it you can also see those the course listings. And it's pretty robust. There's a huge variety of things. What are there common classes that students tend to take? I know they're trying to fulfill some requirements from high school, but do you see folks gravitate towards Englishes or anything like that, or history?
Yeah, for sure. Most students will try to fulfill some of their requirements for high school. So we see a lot of students trying to take English classes, a variety of English classes. There are literature classes, there are a few writing classes, and then our written expression, which is the standard freshman English class that is highly transferable. So we recommend students take classes such as that do transfer fairly easily to other institutions. Students take history classes, economics, mathematics, some sciences. Science is heavy lift because of labs, so it's often hard for scheduling purposes to fit in a lab as well as the lecture time. Same with foreign language, it's very intensive. So it's harder, but those classes are available. It's just a scheduling
a little trickier.
Tricky.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so one of the things I think is really important that I'm sure parents ask is how will my student be supported? You know, how can we help them from a parent perspective, and what does the university do to see these pre-college students be successful? And can you give us just some examples? I have a few logos up there. What are the services offered?
Sure. During the academic year, the services of the university are available to all of our students. So that includes a tutoring center where you are eligible for 1 hour of free tutoring per subject per week. There's a writing center to help students with papers and to do editing. We also have access services, so if there are any documented disabilities that you need accommodations for, we would be able to have that put in place. And there's counseling services, health services. So there's a myriad of services available to students on campus.
And plus you.
As well as academic advising.
Yeah. You are their cheerleader, no doubt. So I wanted to share, and I see some, oh good, yeah, but Vaughn is asking, we're looking for pre-med requirements. And so Summer Academy probably would be the best way to consider that. Is that accurate?
So a pre-med courses are pretty typical science classes for the most part, and a student can really take those classes as an undergraduate. We certainly encourage them to do so because there's a lot of other reasons for it, which I don't need to get into here. But if a student is trying to explore some courses, they can take a bio, they could take statistics, mathematics, those sort of things.
And in Summer Academy, there's various different tracks that are geared towards health and medicine.
Right, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, but the health and medicine does expose students to the world of medicine and all the different options available in that practice, and just helps you kind of maybe hone in on some areas.
We have a question too about talking about the dual enrollment process in more detail, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. We have lots of slides detailing that process, so hopefully we'll get to that in just a second. But I want to see the second part of your question. Is there a tangible difference between the perception of credit being an attractive thing to get while in high school versus the reality of actually being able to get the credit transferred, applied, providing a financial advantage? Let me see if I can repeat that so that we can understand. Is there a tangible difference between the perception of credit being an attractive thing, meaning for recruitment, to get while in high school versus the reality of actually being able to get the credit transferred, applied, or providing a financial advantage?
So I believe, in my perspective, there is an advantage. One, if you are successful in college level classes, you are producing that or supplying your universities that you're applying to with those transcripts, so they will see that you have been able to do college level work successfully. If you've done it more than one class, that shows that you've been able to repeat that success. And if you're taking classes, the more classes you take as a high school student that can help you with double duty, maybe fulfilling some high school requirements as well as some pretty fundamental college requirements, if those transfer, then that's going to save you money. So you're getting 2 free classes if you're a Vermont Dual Enrollment student, voucher student, then you get the 50% discount. I have some students that are finishing their senior year at UVM, so they've taken 4 classes or 3 classes.
Senior year in high school.
Finishing their senior year of high school, so they're fulfilling their high school requirements
At UVM.
at UVM, as well as building credit for transfer.
Interesting. We're going to get into that dual enrollment in just 1 minute. I just want to finish up just some of the timing for pre-college. Classes start on Monday, and so if it's something that you're considering for the spring semester, you probably need to get in touch with us tomorrow. And especially if there's a possibility of the dual enrollment, that's just a little bit more complicated process. And so Kristen could advise if it's a possibility and what classes your student might be interested in, and if there's still space in those. So at this late date, space could be that the concern. And then looking forward, giving a little bit more time, looking forward to the summer semester, the classes start May 18th. And so applications really need to be in at least 1 week before classes start. But if there's a possibility for the dual enrollment, that process just takes a little bit longer. So we just always advise, give yourself at least another week, if not more. So it would be something that you should do soon if you're considering for the summer. And then for fall, there's quite a bit of more time. But again, just trying to apply that same timing also to if you're considering using the dual enrollment also. I have a question here from Lindsay. If a high school offers AP courses, what benefit would be taking a college level course over an AP course? The credit.
Yeah, the credit is the biggest thing. However, if your student takes the AP class and takes the AP exam and passes with the grade or I think it's, for lack of a better term, grade, because it's a number, then that is usually applied. Not all universities take it though, so you always want to make sure that the university you're applying to will take that specific AP credit. So some of them are a little bit picky, some are more picky than others. So the difference is the college credit. The college credit, the real difference would be, is that the classes that you're taking at a university can sometimes be a little bit more creative, if you will. You're not just taking your standard bios, your chemistries, your physics. You can take something that's in animal sciences. You can take something that's in engineering, or something a little bit less traditional.
Standard. Yeah. Interesting. That's a great perspective. I hadn't thought about that. So let's get into the dual enrollment program. Thank you so much for asking to provide more detail on that. So we're going to dive into that more. And so it's a statewide program for high school juniors and seniors, and you can access up to 2 college courses with the tuition fully reimbursed. Of course, it has to be approved by the high school and then the state. And there is a small, I think, a processing fee that still applies. So I think there's somewhere between a $30 or $32 fee once they are approved through the voucher system that still is kind of a processing fee, if you will. So while they say the courses are free, there's still a little side note, if you will.
The university charges a comprehensive fee for all classes.
And so, and these are the opportunity to use the dual enrollment is throughout the year and towards summer academy courses as well.
Yes.
And so they're awarded on a semester by semester basis. And I believe if you don't use them, they do expire. So if you want to use them.
Correct.
Yes.
You must use your vouchers before you graduate high school your senior year.
And from your experience, what is the process for a student to be approved of the voucher?
So the first step would be to talk to your guidance counselor, because there are a few steps. So there's a bit of work on the parent and students, and you have to get an account activated through the Agency of Education. You have to request a voucher based on the actual class you want. Your high school guidance counselor must approve that. and then you attach it to our pre-college application. And then that will be applied to your tuition, and there will be a comprehensive fee.
So it's a good idea to know, or you need to know what class you're interested in taking when you apply for the voucher.
Correct.
Okay, that's good to know. I think that's a good tip. And if you have other questions as we're talking about that dual enrollment process, please let us know. And I do know, and Kelly, maybe you could put up the link specifically to the dual enrollment page on our website, because I know we have a lot of information, and I think there are some how-to videos. And
Yes.
yeah.
The videos are actually very, very useful, so I would recommend you take a look at those because it can be a bit of a process, and this will just help ease that for you.
And we're here to help as well. You know, if you have a question or if you need to find out if you can get into that course in advance of trying to apply, that would be important as well.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So we're here to help, please, if you're interested in that program. And so what you're seeing here is now some slides talking about. Oh, I have another question too. Is it up to 4 credits per course or 4 credits total for 2 courses?
It is 4 credits per voucher.
Okay. And you can get to 2.
Up to 4 credits per voucher, and you are allotted 2 vouchers.
Okay, so it could be up to 8 credits.
Potentially. Right. So 4 credits each. You can't split it.
Got
so
it.
it's not like you can take a 6-credit course and use 2 vouchers.
Yeah. Half and
right.
the quarter of another. Doesn't work that way. Of course not, right?
Per class. So it's 1 voucher per class, but that no more than 4 credits would be paid for.
Okay, great. Hopefully that answers some of your questions as well, but keep them coming and we will do our best to answer them. So you're going to see some of the costs listed here for pre-college courses. And this is assuming for people who don't qualify for the voucher, you're seeing our in-state student per credit core fee and out-of-state high school students per credit fee as well. And the fee that you're seeing there for the credit for out-of-state, they receive a 50% out-of-state academic tuition reduction. And so our pre-college courses, even if you're in Massachusetts or California, you're getting an amazing deal for a course here at UVM. So we're going to pause for a second on pre-college courses that are starting next week, and we're going to move over to Summer Academy. And Summer Academy is a super awesome program where students experience not just sitting in a classroom like they do during pre-college, but what it's like to live on campus and what it's like to be a college student. And it's 2 weeks online, so it's a hybrid. It's 2 weeks online, and then it is 2 weeks on campus in cohorts. And it's really an amazing experience. We talk to those students. I talk to them a lot after they're here and when they're here, and the experience that they have, they just rave about, from the networking to the friends that they've met from all over the country, the experience in diving deep into journalism or health and medicine, and learning about different career opportunities, learning about, like, they sit in a public health panel and they hear about all these different opportunities as a possibility of a career in public health. And so it's really an awesome experience for students. And these are some of the just logistics. I don't know if, what are some common questions that parents ask about Summer Academy specifically?
Well, Summer Academy, a lot of the questions are around the applicability of the classes.
Yep.
So most of these classes are what we consider special topics. So they are in specific fields. So it is not just a general liberal arts course. We have neuroscience. It's in neuroscience, microbiology, health, and geography, et cetera. So, and then other questions are around the experience on campus. What is the difference between being a commuter student and residential? Is it worth the residential tuition versus the driving in every single day?
And we have such a mix as well. Folks will come in South Burlington, and so they're, that of course it's still wonderful to have that experience being in a dorm, but sometimes, a 15-minute drive might not make sense. And so the commuters still have a really rich experience, and oftentimes they stick around, I think, and hang out with the peers and stuff too, so they try to engage with that opportunity of what it feels like. This is a really interesting offering this summer, and in a lot of these courses, we are very traditional in our Summer Academy. Our health and medicine, and some of the newer, and we've been doing drones for several years, which is a super, super cool class. I photographed and talked to a lot of the students that they were out there driving the drones and testing things, and it just looked really amazing. But there's a lot of new classes on here this year too, which is super exciting. And a repeat that was new last year was the journalism with the words and photographies. Talk to us a little bit about this lineup.
Well, we're just trying to touch upon everybody's interests. I think sciences are very hot right now, and so we want students to have multiple opportunities. So if we've had students come back year after year, so if somebody did neuroscience last year, they may want to come back and do microbiology. We're just building on some of the interests that we're hearing about, and also trying to keep things fresh and take advantage of this campus during one of the best times a year.
Yeah, and they do some amazing activities as well. You know, there's a cruise, there's beach time, there's lots of time to have fun. Probably more fun than I think maybe college students actually have, because there's just a lot of really unique and wonderful structured activity for the high school students. And so this kids certainly have a good time in addition to learning, and the experience has seemed very valuable for them. So here is the schedule, if it's something that you're considering. And our summer academy application, I believe, is open.
Correct.
Yes, it is open. Let's touch on for a second, we were talking about dual enrollment. The dual enrollment, the vouchers, the voucher application for summer is open February 24th. Yeah, we could look at our notes here.
Cheat sheet here.
Cheat sheet. And summer course registration at UVM. So this is different than Summer Academy. Summer Academy is open currently for registration, and you can find that on our website.
For application.
For application, yeah.
Registration still won't happen until March 2nd.
Yeah. And so, but if you're looking at having the pre-college experience, just taking a course online, not having that residential, the Summer Academy experience, those courses will open for registration the 2nd of March. And so you're looking here, just a quick slide about the dates for Summer Academy, what kind of that experience looks like and the timing. We've heard people say it's like summer camp, you know, for high school kids, but they're learning something, which is really amazing too. And so if you have questions specifically about that, please let us know. We do have a short video, so we're going to pause for a second and play a short video that shows you what the experience is like. And this is really from many pictures and some scenes of our students last summer. And so we'll take a pause and we'll be back in a minute. You can watch the Summer Academy video. A little bit of a look what the campus is like, and as we said, the kids have a great time. And so I've asked one of our folks here, our team tonight, Kelly, to just put up the Summer Academy link in the chat box so that you can have access to that. And so what we've talked about with Summer Academy is the residential versus commuter, and really the only difference, essentially, the experience is just not living in the dorm for the commuter student. Yeah. I do hear a lot from students that were commuters when I speak with them afterwards that they really wish that they stayed. Do you hear that sometimes?
Well, they leave and
see the
people are
fun.
going off to
I
have all the
know.
fun. So
And so here's the difference in some pricing for Summer Academy. And again, the Vermont Dual Enrollment vouchers can be utilized towards courses for Summer Academy.
correct.
And one of the things that you mentioned, which I think is really important to consider, is that you can come back. Summer Academy doesn't have to be a one-time thing.
No.
And so you can come back and take, a science course that you're interested in, health and medicine, and then the next, and maybe you discovered that wasn't what you were that interested in, but you loved the college experience, and so you could come back and take, an environmental course, and we have some new offerings this year. So if your student has come and had a great experience, there might be another opportunity for them. Right. And so we do have just listing here about the different prices in terms of residential in-state for, I believe we're looking here at with the dual enrollment at the top screen, and then without the dual enrollment at the bottom screen as well. And then looking at out-of-state cost for students to attend Summer Academy. And so if you have questions on these particular fees, let us know. We have a great question here. I'm going to just go through real quick. The commuter in-state. So again, if your student doesn't need to, and it sounds like maybe Vanessa, this might apply. She says, if I live close and want to walk to classes from my house, can I still participate in the non-academic activities? And I think, I don't know if that's a little gray zone, or I think that's really focused on the folks that are the residential.
Yeah, it is for residential students only.
Yeah. Okay.
So unfortunately, we can't. There's liability issues around it.
Yeah, I understand that. So then we're just looking at the commuter. So Vanessa, this pricing here, with or without the Vermont dual enrollment, would apply to what you are considering potentially. And then there's the commuter for out-of-state pricing also. And so I suspect you get this question a lot too. Well, which one then? If I have an 11th grader or a 12th grader and they're really interested in taking these kind of courses, and it's a good time to be thinking about that too, because spring courses start next week, and so maybe you're thinking, would I have my student take a pre-college course in the summer, or would I have them take Summer Academy? How do you help parents answer that?
I think it's about what kind of experience they want to have. The Summer Academy is really an experience. One, it is, like we said, it's strictly for high school students. So you will know that you are in a group of peers. It is just high school students. When you're not participating in the course portion of Summer Academy, the external activities are supervised. We do have people working with the students around the clock. So we have people watching and supervising. And then the pre-college courses, the general courses, is if you want the experience of being in a classroom with other college students, and nobody knows you're a high school student. There's nothing to indicate that you are a high school student. Right. You're just sitting in a class with everyone else doing the work. So the expectation is you're doing the work just like everyone else. And it really is, it's two similar but different experiences. And some students do both because of the nature of the timeline of Summer Academy. We've had some students take a May session class, which does overlap with high school. We totally recognize that. But as many of the courses are online, there have been students that find a way. Also, because of the timeline, you have to be a rising junior or senior to be eligible for a dual enrollment voucher. So students will sometimes take a course for the 50% off in the May session and then use their voucher for a later session or for Summer Academy.
So you can really guide them and help them as to how to take the best advantage of what the offerings are, and financially as well.
And I ask a lot of questions when I'm talking to students to see where their interests are and what they want to get out of this. Are they looking for a specific knowledge, or are they trying to explore a major, all of these things. So I do ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, and that helps you to be able to provide the best information so that you're successful. So we have a couple different good questions coming in, and I want to pause for those. Ian asks, are there any scholarships available for students living out of state? Any financial aid for pre-college courses or Summer Academy?
For
or scholarships?
For pre-college courses, there are not. We do, the 50% tuition discount is what we would consider a scholarship by another name, I suppose. And again, that applies up until you graduate. Your senior, actually, sorry, the
In the
50%,
summer, right?
the
Carries through,
50%
yeah.
carries through the summer after you graduate, before you matriculate into a university in that fall. So if I didn't make that clear, feel free to ask the question for clarity purposes.
Yeah, so I think that's a really important point too, is that you can take advantage of that 50% tuition reduction even in the summer session after you are graduated from high school. And so there's an opportunity.
That one summer.
Yep, that one summer before you actually start either at UVM or another school.
And we are unsure of scholarships for summer academies at this point. If something pops up, we will be notifying any student that has applied, and obviously future applicants would be made aware.
Right, absolutely. So we have a question here coming. So a 3-credit summer academy experience could be free if a student uses a voucher and is just taking the classes, an online portion, but not doing the residential program. Correct. Yeah, absolutely. If you're a commuter and you're able to use the Vermont Dual Enrollment vouchers, it's that processing, that small fee that's
$30 comprehensive fee, and each individual course has its own lab fee, so I don't think it tops out beyond $70 or $90 for a lab fee. So minimal, it would be minimal.
Yep. And it would be really great to have you contact us as well, and so that we can, get more specific answers on these topics in particular, but the general information is accurate that we were just talking about in terms of your assumption is right. You can take your summer academy courses with the Vermont Dual Enrollment at no charge for the tuition. And Nancy asks, is 1 hour per week free tutoring available during the summer to dual enrollment students and summer academy students?
During the summer, it is not. The university is not fully functional in the support systems during the summer. We do have some support services available, but tutoring, what they have is a list of students that are available for tutoring. Because, again, most of the courses are online, we have students rely very heavily on the faculty. So the faculty is the primary resource during the summertime. If there are other means, we refer students to something like Khan Academy or Coursera to get a little bit more supplemental instruction. So there are ways, and certainly I encourage students to talk to me, and I can, see what we can find for them.
Great. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate all these great questions coming in tonight. As we've mentioned, and we've put up a couple times in the chat box today, links to specific information. The dual enrollment is a little bit to process in terms of time for the application and to understand how it could work and how it could benefit you or your student. And so we really encourage you to take a look at the videos and take a look at the instructions as to how to walk you through that process. And as Kristen has said many times, we really are here to help you through that. We've advised many, many students through that process successfully. And then also, if you're thinking of taking a class that might start next week, let's hear from you tomorrow.
Please.
Pretty quick to see if that's even a possibility. And then if you're considering summer academy or a summer course, there's a little bit more time. But the summer academy application is open, and pre-college summer applications are open.
Pre-registration
apps for pre-college summer classes are open, and then the registration for those actual courses actually opens up in March. Hopefully that was informative for you tonight as you're thinking about what could be possibilities for either your high school student or for you if you're in high school and considering taking a course while you're still in high school here at the University of Vermont. Please do get in touch if you have any additional questions. We will send out this recording to everybody who has RSVP'd, and we hope that you will get in touch if you have questions. Have a great evening, and hopefully we'll see you soon in a pre-college or summer academy course.